the Dallas Cowboys find themselves in a familiar yet precarious situation. Once again, they are delaying a massive contract extension for one of their star players, and this time, it's none other than Micah Parsons. The all-pro linebacker, who has quickly become the face of the Cowboys' defense, is set to demand what could be a record-breaking $200 million deal. But with every passing day, the price tag might just get steeper, and Jerry Jones may soon regret not locking him up sooner. Parsons, who has been a game-changer since being drafted in 2021, has done everything possible to prove his worth. He's racked up accolades at an unprecedented rate, making multiple Pro Bowls, earning All-Pro selections, and even becoming a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year in just his first few seasons. Simply put, he is the kind of generational talent that teams dream about. And yet, despite all this, the Cowboys have not made a move to secure his long-term future. The NFL is a business, and players understand that. But in Parsons' case, the delay could be costly for Dallas. For starters, the linebacker market is exploding, with players like Nick Bosa resetting the bar for defensive contracts. Bosa's 5-year, $170 million deal with the 49ers already set a new standard, and Parsons is expected to surpass that. Some insiders believe his deal could easily cross the $200 million mark, making him the highest-paid defensive player in NFL history. But why the delay? One of the biggest factors could be Jerry Jones' tendency to play hardball in contract negotiations. We've seen this before with players like Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and even DeMarcus Lawrence. The Cowboys' front office often waits until the last possible moment to hand out big contracts, hoping to either save money or maximize leverage. However, this strategy doesn't always work, and in many cases, it ends up costing them more in the long run. Take Prescott's contract situation as a prime example. The Cowboys could have signed him earlier for a more reasonable price, but instead they waited, and Prescott ultimately landed a massive 4-year, $160 million contract that now looks like a bargain compared to current quarterback deals. The same mistake is unfolding with CeeDee Lamb, who is due for a massive payday as well. Now, with Parsons, history could be repeating itself. Parsons isn't just any defensive player. He is a game wrecker, someone who can single-handedly shift the outcome of games. His ability to rush the passer, drop into coverage, and make plays all over the field makes him a unique talent. He has drawn comparisons to Hall of Famers like Lawrence Taylor and Ray Lewis, and many believe he is only scratching the surface of his potential. If he continues on this trajectory, there's no question that he will demand every penny of that $200 million deal. The problem for Dallas is that the longer they wait, the more expensive it gets. NFL teams that act early on contracts often get the best value. The Kansas City Chiefs, for example, locked up Patrick Mahomes with a 10-year deal worth $450 million, which, at the time, seemed astronomical. But now, with quarterback salaries skyrocketing, that deal looks like an absolute steal. The Cowboys could have taken a similar approach with Parsons, getting ahead of the market before it reached record-breaking levels. Another concern is Parsons' growing frustration. While he hasn't publicly demanded a new contract, he's aware of his worth, and every delay could be interpreted as a lack of urgency from the front office. NFL players have a short window to maximize their earnings, and Parsons, like any star player, wants to secure his financial future as soon as possible. If Dallas continues to drag its feet, it could create unnecessary tension between the team and one of its biggest superstars. There's also the risk of injuries. Football is a brutal sport, and while Parsons has been relatively healthy, the longer he plays without long-term security, the more risk he carries. If, God forbid, he suffers a serious injury before signing a new deal, it could complicate contract negotiations and potentially impact his earning potential. This is exactly why most elite players push for extensions as soon as possible. They don't want to gamble with their future. The Cowboys must also consider the impact on their locker room. Securing a generational talent like Parsons would send a strong message to the rest of the team. Dallas is committed to winning and taking care of its best players. On the flip side, if negotiations drag out, it could create a distraction and even raise doubts among other players about the organization's willingness to invest in its own talent. But let's talk about the numbers. What would a $200 million contract for Parsons even look like? Based on current market trends, it's likely that his deal would span 5 to 6 years with a significant portion guaranteed. Experts believe he could command an average annual salary of at least $40 million, surpassing Bosa's $34 million per year. Such a deal would make him the highest-paid defensive player in NFL history, a title he rightfully deserves. It would make life easier for Doc, force defenses to pick their poison between stopping the run or defending the pass, and ultimately give Mike McCarthy's play calling a whole new level of versatility. But wait, it gets even better. Not only are the Cowboys making these moves, but they're doing it in a way that still keeps their financial flexibility intact. This is smart roster building, going after high-impact players without completely mortgaging the future. This tells us that the front office is finally understanding the urgency of the moment. They see the talent on this roster. They recognize that this is the time to go all in. And they're making the necessary adjustments to give the Cowboys the best possible chance to succeed. Now, let's talk about what this means for the upcoming season. With these two stars coming in, the Cowboys instantly become a more balanced, complete team. Defensively, they can dominate games, shut down elite quarterbacks, and create turnovers at a high rate. Offensively, they can stretch the field, keep defenses guessing, and put up points against even the toughest opponents. This isn't just about making the playoffs, it's about making a legitimate Super Bowl run. The salary cap is also an important factor. While a massive contract might seem daunting, the NFL's cap continues to rise, and teams have found creative ways to structure deals. Signing Parsons sooner rather than later would allow Dallas to spread out his cap hits and maintain flexibility to build a competitive roster around him. So what's the next step? The ball is in Jerry Jones' court. The Cowboys can either act now and secure their defensive cornerstone, or they can wait and risk paying even more. One thing is clear, Parsons isn't going anywhere. Whether he gets his record-breaking deal from Dallas or another team in the future, he will get paid. The only question is how much the Cowboys will have to cough up to keep him in the star.